Chris Newman, Truth and Consequences. This is a fascinating diagram because we're going to be investigating the core topic for human existence. The world we're in, the world we should be in, and the road between the two of them. The diagram shows, I'm going to start right here. There's God's kingdom. There's that tree of the life that we've mentioned in previous lectures, which is the tree of life mentioned in the book of Genesis and in the book of Revelation at the end. So it's at the beginning and the end of the Bible. Now the tree of life, to cut things right to the point, Jesus is the tree of life. The heavenly kingdom of God is where he lives, and his mission on earth was to build the heavenly kingdom on earth physically. The fall, I've got three lines here. I've got the line of the fall right there, the line of the cross right there, and the line of the law. And I will explain these to you right now. So there's the kingdom over here, the tree of life. Here is Lucifer, Satan, and the gods of this world, the tree of the knowledge, good and evil, which is the other tree referred to in Genesis. There it is, that red thing. I've just drawn kind of an ugly big old tree, and here's all the people in it. That's all of us. And this world consists of, I've put it here, religions and philosophies, the state, or it could be the tribe, the central organisation, and secular organisations. And I've also included three different groups: agnostics, atheists, and the faithful. You could be a faithful Marxist. You could be a faithful Christian. You could be agnostic Buddha. You could be an atheistic communist. You could be a cynic atheist. There's all kinds of categories. And these all fit into this tree of the knowledge, good and evil. And I've also shown for your interest that between atheists and the faithful there is a dialectical relationship, an argument about doubt, faith and so on. What's interesting about this, or noteworthy, is that this is the null set world I referred to in a previous presentation. Null set, that symbol mathematically means it's not meant to exist, but we populated it when we fell out of the kingdom of God, across the line of the fall, into the Lucifer, Satan and the gods of this world, and I call this entity here, this being, this whole entity of the tree of the knowledge, good and evil, Satan's labyrinth, because it's a complicated system. Now you can see on the diagram we've got the two trees right there. Now you can follow it. Here's the sovereignty of God, and there is the rule of the dictator. Good and evil. So sometimes the dictator's kind, maybe Monday and Tuesday and Friday. And other days he might be cruel, Tuesday and Wednesday. And on the weekend it might just be la-di-da-di-da, a bit of everything. That's why this labyrinth is so confusing. It's not evil and this is good. No, that good-evil problem is down in here, not over here in God's kingdom. Now the first thing we encounter when we want to move in this world is the law. So I've got the line of the law here, and in the law we have accusation and legalistic conformity. You might remember Jesus was always talking to people about the spirit of the law, not the words of the law, the meaning behind the law. However, the law is used often as an instrument of oppression and control. So I've identified some interesting characters from the Bible who Ham, the son of Noah, rejected his father's authority, so he would be stuck behind the line of the law. And Seth, who was the younger brother of Cain and Abel, had, I believe, a sense of apathy in his life. So he didn't even engage constructively, he just backed out. So he would still be behind the line of the law. Now the first story in Genesis of Canaan, of Adam and Eve's family, is the Cain and Abel relationship. And this is a sad case where resentment and impulsiveness destroyed a brotherly relationship. That's in the line before, they were there before the law was established. So it's just an interesting incident, but it shows us something about human fallen nature. The one that we need to identify here is, I call it the line of the cross, which is guilt and failure. And this line here keeps all the Christians bottled up behind it, and it keeps also other religions behind Christianity, because Christianity, being the highest of the religions, if it can't break through the line of the cross, neither can any of the others. The line of the cross is right where they killed Jesus. However, Jesus was seeking to bring people past the line of the fall into God's heavenly kingdom, where the original commandment, God's original commandment, do not eat the fruit of the tree of the knowledge good and evil, is established in the line of the fall. But on the other side of the fall, the line of the fall, is the heavenly kingdom. What happened at the fall is Eve's fantasy and emotionalism led her in an engagement with Lucifer to break her commandment with God, and Adam's carelessness and entitlement allowed he allowed himself to follow Eve into this Luciferian reality. That was how the line of the fall was established, and then you can see now how this diagram works. So to summarize it in a simple sense, after the fall into exile, our world thus far, who knows how many thousands, 100,000 of years humans have been going, whatever, we've been come along this line here from the labyrinth through these different stages, and pioneered to this point here where Jesus was killed. But Jesus was teaching what he called his narrow way, the Messiah's narrow way, which bridges the final stage of human development across the line of the fall back to God's original home for us, which is the heavenly kingdom. And there Jesus is, his spiritual man, his resurrected spiritual man, lives here in the heavenly kingdom, and it's the original principled path to perfection is the normal way of growing in God's kingdom. But because of humankind being stuck over here, we've got a hell of a predicament. It doesn't matter whether you're saved by the blood of the cross, or you've got Buddha's enlightenment, or you're a perfect man like Muhammad, or like Karl Marx, you have the history, the secret of history completely understood. It doesn't matter. All of that succumbs to Lucifer, Satan, and the gods of this world, and it's stuck in this tree of the knowledge good and evil reality, in the labyrinth, in exile. None of it is able to cross the line of the fall, and that's the power of this diagram. This diagram explains in a deep way the predicament of all religions, all philosophies, the agnostics, the faithful, the atheists, the whole shooting match of human history, culture and experience is stuck in this world here, and most people are stuck behind the line of the cross because they haven't repented for what we did to Jesus. And because we lost him at that point, we lost the way home, because his narrow way was going to show the folk how to cross the line of the fall, which he'd been across himself. He'd been to the God's home, he'd been to the original principal path to perfection, came back here to the world of people, helped them understand that they didn't have to be stuck behind the line of the law, and was bringing them forward, and then they killed him. tremendous power in this diagram. So and right there we need to understand right at the line of the fall is Eve and Adam and their situation. And I will investigate that in great depth in other presentations. This is a unique insight, and I invite you to consider it and relate it to your life, because probably you're in here somewhere in this state and you want to get over here, but how are you going to make it? The Christians think they're already there, but they can't cross the line of the cross. The guilt and failure of what we did, what was done to Jesus. So because he's now here and calling us, we must understand his curriculum and his approach to bringing humankind across the line of the fall back to the heavenly kingdom and God's original sovereignty. I will leave that in your heart, in your mind, and you can ponder this in depth, and I'm happy to receive any questions relating to the application of this to your life or human life in general. Thank you, Chris Newman.